I'm going to talk about the green planet, monster trucks, and the desert bride. And James might talk about cosmos a little bit. This time I'm not shucking the corn. So I think this is going to work out a lot better. Anyway, I'll wait until you're going to eat the corn before I shuck it, so it can just stay in there and steam, and then the flies won't touch it. So that's going to be great.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
That flies.
So anyway, I'm going to read my poem called Triple Gifted Corn, which I wrote August 9th, 2024. So I guess that's yesterday. I wrote a better poem today, but I'm not going to read it right now.
I want to keep you in suspense.
My neighbor bought corn on the cob that likely came from Tabor. The seller was generous, so she had enough for sharing, and boy, did she do a good job. The corn cobs from my neighbor were better than any I'd grow. I'm glad she had the corn to spare, and thankful my neighbor came by with corn cobs for the giving. I roasted 3 cobs on the grill for James to eat for dinner. I could have claimed 1 just to try. For me, it's just for living. I'd rather let James eat his fill. That gift of corn has made James grin. So you may have caught that was another what is it called? Nibelungen strophe. And what I did this time is I changed the rhythm up a bit. So I had triple rhythm and then sort of iambic with a trimeter, really, with a feminine rhyme. So I gave the same rhyme scheme that I had yesterday. I used the same rhyme scheme, but I used a different rhythm pattern. And so this one, because I'm mixing it back and forth, it's you have to be a lot more careful about how you're accenting things and stuff. So
Yeah, you have to.
yeah. So anyway, but it gives it a more natural feel to it, really, when you mix things up back and forth. Like so, one line was triple, and then iambic, back to iambic, and then back to triple, and then so anyway.
Straight pentameter, a little bit artificial. Straight trimeter, like dactylic.
It's just dances along like a fairy tale. You're floating on a cloud, waltzing along, and it doesn't feel natural at all after a while. But if you mix them back and forth, then it reads more naturally. It's just more difficult to write though.
Sometimes you can get nice effects though. Picture yourself on a boat on a river.
Yeah.
With tangerine trees and marmalade skies.
We've been out in the sun for a long time. But anyway.
We were out for about 4.5 hours. It wasn't all car shopping. We did a lot of hiking.
Yeah.
Probably covered.
And honestly, we looked at a lot of cars that I think would work out just fine. And I think the dealers that we dealt with, for all of them, I think were nice.
They seemed quite nice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one manager I could have
done without.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, Green Planet. Now, I really expected to like this a lot more. I mean, you could tell I liked it. Top of the stack. Of course I'm going to like it. Green Planet. About plants. And the camera work was awesome. They did such a good job. But I honestly expected to like it more, and I don't know why exactly I didn't. I think there was too much. I don't like it, the whole nature show, the battle of the wild, you know, and these things fighting against each other and whatever, and I don't like that setup. So I think that's partly it. I mean, you're watching a plant show, and you still have, oh, these are competing for light, and it's like a war kind of thing, or whatever, and the big music and whatever, and Honestly, I would rather just some peaceful, nice music, and
Some plants cooperating with each other.
they do have that too. They show, like they were showing, what was it? There's a parasitic plant. Oh, dodder. They were showing dodder and how the nettle plants use it to communicate with other nettle plants, because the dodder hooks itself right in, right, to the nettles, and so then the nettles can, if they can use it to communicate with each other. So that's interesting, and use the dodder, because the dodder's connecting them, right? So anyway, and they had that with mycelium. They were talking about trees and how, you see the mushroom, the fruiting body, but the mycelium's all through the ground, and it connects. Sometimes it just connects the trees, and so the trees can communicate with each other through the connections in the mycelium. And then the guy. So anyway, this David Attenborough kind of sounds like Winnie the Pooh, and I thought I'd like that a little more than I did. Honestly, I didn't really care for his narration that much. I guess I didn't mind it that much, but
well, he is a director, right?
Oh, is he?
He's director. That's his thing.
Okay, well, whatever. So, anyway, what was I saying about the? Oh, he showed some things like experiments in the lab. He was saying, so if I pinch this leaf with the tweezers, then you can see with this kind of microscope, it shows how the I think it was a tobacco plant maybe, or something he was showing it with. So I don't know what it traces. Maybe it traces the nicotine. Maybe it shows the nicotine lights up. But I don't know what it was. But anyway, he showed how you could see how one leaf would communicate to the other leaves in the plants, saying, "Oh, I have this injury," right? So beware, there's caterpillars about munching us or whatever, because he was just simulating with tweezers. But anyway, and he also talked about how plants will signal, they use chemical signals so that they can not only lure insects for pollination or whatever, right? You expect that, but there was one kind of orchid that was really cute. Yeah, I think it was hammer orchid, maybe, something like that. So anyway, it mimicked the look of the female wasp that was flightless and stood atop a little branch or whatever, waiting for her mate. And so the mate would see this orchid and think, "Oh, that's a female," right? So, so that's how it got pollinated. But anyway, what was I going to say about the plants? He talked about some plants, how they call for help from different animals, like
Grass.
reptiles, or this little beetle maybe, or something like that, I can't remember, would come and munch on these caterpillars when they were getting attacked. So that was cute. Now I haven't watched this whole thing yet. I'm on disc 2 of the 2-disc set. There's quite a lot of information on here, though. I hadn't realized some things, and I like plants, I like learning about them, but I remember somebody telling me about how wild oats, they'll use those, is it the awns? Anyway, the things that stick out, it'll use those to, so that the awns will actually dig the seeds into the soil so that the soil will protect the seed and it'll end up germinating there. So I heard that, but I certainly didn't know that the awns made the seed able to walk, which was crazy to see. They had it on time lapse, and I guess what happens is the awns, when they dry out, they curl one way, and then when they get moistened, they curl the other, and somehow the hairs on the seeds keep the seeds moving in one direction. So they walk. The seeds actually walk. Crazy. So, yeah, there's a lot of information on these discs. It's really interesting to see. And
so that's how wild oats run wild. They walk wild.
They walk wild. Yeah. So that was really cute. And I mean, there's lots of other things, lots of information on here. It's I hadn't realized a lot of things, like about how the what's that kind of cactus? Sergano? Anyway, how it will fill up with water, and it actually, the ridges, it's like an accordion. Wild! I had no idea they did that. But maybe I should have. I guess it just never occurred to me why they have the ridges and how they use them or whatever. I honestly would have thought they were just stationary, but no.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Plants are incredible.
Yeah. So there is so much to learn on here. It's definitely worth watching, and I look forward to finishing watching the second disc. Don't know what I'll see, but I'm sure it'll be wonderful. So monster trucks, it says on here, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And it says a delightful family film, and I'm like, oh, monster trucks? And it has I'm trying to find out who this actor is in here, but I don't know. Maybe I can't see. But I was thinking he looks like Sam Winchester. But honestly, this movie came out too recently. It's 2017, so it's not Sam Winchester. So I'm wondering, did Sam Winchester have a son? Because I don't know, and I don't know what Sam Winchester's real name is. Yeah, but you know who
it's
I'm
that
talking
horror
about.
show, right?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the horror show.
Yeah. Anyway, so
he's the one with maybe the slightly better acting chops, but they're both awful.
They really are both awful.
Hilariously so. I love that show in a certain way.
I know you do. So
I love the retro cars and the retro rock.
Supernatural. Yeah. So anyway, I'm watching this show, and yeah, it's a family film, and I don't know how they decided to make an environmentally friendly sort of monster truck movie.
Oh,
but
okay. Sounds
honestly,
like an oxymoron.
They kind of pulled it off. Yeah, it maybe they were thinking, oh, how are we going to market monster trucks in this green world today?
Well, when I see 4x4s out there, they look like what monster trucks used to look like when I was something like a kid. They look like skyscrapers now.
Yeah, but Rob Lowe is still looking good. It's amazing. He's a vampire. So there's other people you'd recognize in this, and it really wasn't the worst movie I've seen. I didn't expect to sit through it, honestly. I can understand why he has the one vehicle that doesn't run and he decides to monster truck it, whatever. And the whole monster truck thing is cute. But the other two trucks that were good trucks, I don't know why he could have got anything from Scrapyard. It didn't make sense why he decided to get these fancy trucks to be monster trucks. It didn't make any sense at all. So, honestly, I think that was a a negative. What do you? It wasn't. It certainly didn't aid in making the movie better. It took away from it. So, especially taking the one guy's truck, that's kind of juvenile, whatever. It was, and really, he took two guys' truck because the other one was supposed to be a birthday gift for him. So, it was. I didn't like that. I didn't like that he took the new trucks and monster trucked them. It wasn't good. But anyway, the story itself was entertaining and whatever. The Desert Bride. This one you're going to have to read some subtitles. But, well, unless you know Spanish. But
if you do, more power to you.
Sure. But honestly, I didn't like this movie. I found it really boring. I didn't see a point at all. So, not worth having to read subtitles for, that for sure. So there's cottage cheese in there if you want. And if you want to talk about Cosmos now, that's great.
I think I do.
Okay.
Let me just check.
How much time?
Much time?
Sure.
Is it like 12 minutes?
Yeah.
12 and a half. Oh, my
That was
chickadee is
pretty-
back.
Chickadee?
Yep. He just said hi.
Chickadee-dee-dee.
Yep. Well, they have lots of songs. You can hear he's doing a little song that's really cute now. Doodle-doo.
It's very nice. Thank you, little guy. Or gal.
So, you go ahead with Cosmos.
Cosmos. I like the flowers better than. What did I do with them? There it is.
What?
Notes.
Oh,
The Great Dying. So in one of these things, I think it was in the first disc, he's making fun of people who were so superstitious they were afraid of comets. And it's a repeat sound chomp. Oh, they were afraid of comets. And then scientists came, along came Jones. Yeah, scientists, yeah. Oh, why are you afraid of comets? That's stupid. It's just stupid. Yeah, comets hit the world. In historical times, they would be what caused it was a comet or a big meteorite that took out the dinosaurs. That was a major sort of thing. It talks about the Great Dying. 90% of all species died. So he talks about a big Guadalupe mountain chain. That's a big fossil reef. It's just like it's an old reef. It looks like a mountain. It's been exposed by erosion. We were completely cut off from our violent past. Well, that's. Are we completely cut off? We've been completely cut off since the so-called scientific era. Since the Enlightenment. I'm not for the Enlightenment. I'm for enlightenment. But the Enlightenment went too far when it came to making fun, especially of the Bible, but of various mythologies and legends and things recorded in religious documents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, you couldn't go around saying, something like the flood happened. You can't go around saying that. Now, I go around saying that because I've got the documentation from around the world. And there's one particular detail, the end of the world, and specifically something like a flood, not exactly like it's described in the Bible, but something that would have looked like the end of the world happened maybe at the time of the Younger Dryas, maybe 10,000 years ago, something like that. It happened around the world. What caused it? Well, it was a big comet. I was there. No, I wasn't. I'm not that old. But something hammered the world. Why? because the traditions around the world, where we've got enough detail, record the end of the world or a flood, if it's more specific, and it's associated with the Pleiades. Now, Pleiades they aren't even a constellation; they're an asterism, which is kind of like a subset of stars within the constellation Taurus. How many constellations are there? There are something like 88, same number of keys as on a piano, somewhere between 80 and 90. And to the people, well, you know, like it's around the world. This sort of thing's recorded. Now, what's the thing about the Pleiades? Well, who cares? They're just a small, wee little thing. Why would people around the world have? Oh, it's some sort of superstition. They're really flash. No, they're not flashy. They're right next door, basically, to Orion. You can pick out Orion. But if you ask people to pick out, hey, can you pick out Orion, the hourglass figure? Can you pick out they're a long ways away from the around the circumpolar stars, including Ursa Major, the Great Bear, which includes the Big Dipper. You can get people pick those out. No. Find the Big Dipper for me. Okay, most people can find it. Find Orion for me. Yeah. They can do that. Find the Pleiades for me. No. The Pleiades aren't even a constellation. They're not even a constellation. Orion is a constellation, not part of the zodiac. It's kind of south, the northern hemisphere, nearer the horizon than Gemini and Taurus. Kind of right next door to Taurus. The Pleiades are located in Taurus. They're a very small part of Taurus. You'd probably notice Aldebaran or Aldebaran. It's in Taurus, which is supposed to be the eye of the bull. Taurus is a bull, or it was seen that way by some of the ancients in some of the world. Not just in Greece, not just amongst the Arabs afterwards, maybe in Babylonia. Right? And what is it about the Pleiades? See, the Pleiades are associated with one of the two major torrid meteor showers. I can't remember which one it is. It wouldn't be the Alpha Taurids. But it's one of the two major torrid streams. Torrid means having to do with Taurus. It's not like torrid hot, the way it kind of is today here in London. Taurids. Now, smart people, and there's the occasional smart astronomer. Well, most of them say this, that meteor showers could be associated with comets. It's just they're not able to associate most of them with actual comets that we know. It could be a comet that's kind of like on a not an elliptical orbit around the sun, but just a parabolic orbit. Come visit once and they're gone, and left their remnants. It could have been that. But at any rate, what are the chances, associated with a meteor shower, which smart people say meteor showers are associated with comets? A comet hit the world and caused huge disaster, including flood myths around the world, or a disaster recorded in what we call myths. They're not myths, legends. Yeah, they're not really legends. They have legendary type of features, but there is a truth, a real truth. That's like maybe with a capital T, maybe with a capital R and a capital U and a capital T again and a capital H. You got that straight, you stupid astronomers? I've come across one flood myth. I'm the person, as far as I know, the first to discover it. The flood myth amongst the Norse people involves a Fimbul winter. The earth gets enveloped in snow. That's the way they saw it, or the ancestors saw it. And what's snow made out of? H2O. That's their version of the flood myth, and it wasn't spread by missionaries. You got that straight? It has nothing to do with liquid water. It's crystallized water. It's snow. That's what Fimbulwinter is about. That comes at the end of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. That's their flood myth. You got that straight? Yeah. Anyway. So it's ridiculous. He's talking about disasters in here. This is stuff since probably the first Cosmos put out by Sagan, whatever his name is. Forgotten his first name. Fairly forgettable individual, really. Carl Sagan. We're completely cut off from our violent past. No, we're not. He's saying in this, oh, a comet or a meteorite hits us once every million years.
Boy, they're going for it now.
No. You know, like, I don't know what happened to stop the world's trees growing 534 AD for 5 years, but it looks as though that was a comet. I don't know what happened. It killed the world's trees off between 700 and maybe 600 BC, roughly 650 BC. Something stopped the world's trees growing from around the world. It's from dendrochronology, okay? For 18 years. I don't know what caused that. Something did. I don't know what caused the world's trees to stop growing for 5 years, around 1150 BC, but something did. I do know what stopped the world's trees from growing around 1866 BC. That's uncalibrated radiocarbon readings. The calibrated radiocarbon readings around 2350 BC. It's off by 500 years. That calibration was done to please Egyptologists. I don't believe in pleasing Egyptologists. They want you to believe that the rate of decay for carbon-14 is changed, because they don't want to change their chronology. Believe me, it's a lot easier to revise the Egyptian chronology than it is to go say, hey, the rate of decay for carbon-14 has changed in historical times. No, you don't do that. That's ad hoc explanation. You don't go changing something like that just to please the Egyptologists. Absolutely not. And if you don't believe me, check it out. That's when radiocarbon experts started calibrating radiocarbon readings. They rushed off to the Egyptologists and said, hey, you got the gold standard for ancient chronology. This was in something like the mid-50s, 1950s. And they don't have the golden standard. The people from the Assyriologists, people who study Mesopotamian history, have the gold standard year by year going back to 911 BC. The Egyptian chronology is good back year by year to 592 BC. You see the difference? It's more than 300 years difference. Something like 319 years difference. I know which I prefer. I prefer the one that goes back to 911 BC. And guess what? That's one I use for revising Egyptian chronology. Yeah, the Assyrian chronology is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. How much time? 3 minutes?
You have 18 seconds.
18 seconds.
Wrap her up.
So, tune in. You know, like you Egyptologists, get ready. You're going to be subjected to a verbal tongue lashing. You deserve it.